in that I don't speak on public every day, so that's my challenge. I hope that you will find this speech informative, and if there should be any questions, then please interrupt me and we will discuss. So I just wanted to start my presentation today with some precious experiences and the latest tweets from the events that we visited recently. And the last one was actually in Rome last week, where we faced this interest on not just technologies and tools and all around about it, but also how to bring really value in the communication. And how technology can help us in that, how technology changes the way we do business and the way we communicate. Because over half of HCPs are digitally native. But on the other hand, the MedRep today is always standing between the push and the pull in the communication. And on the top of that, we are all patients in the end, and we have so many apps for healthcare, like 700 apps for prostate treatment that was mentioned yesterday. And do we really need all that information, and how we manage and how we filter it? So that's the challenge probably. Continuing, like technology is really the mainstream now. The pharmaceutical marketing of today is a kind of collaborative space of the internal marketing teams in the pharmaceutical companies, and also a set of providers of digital agencies, of creative agencies. And they're all working together in order to write the success story for the company. But how do you manage that? Are they ready really to deliver the success of your campaign, working together? And what would be the success of your marketing campaign in the end? What do you do with the content? Because when you first use digital, after the first year, you can definitely observe that you are more confident, that you are more sure, that you can predict better results. But on the other hand, you face that the success then needs constant changes of the digital material. And so that, combined with the ever change of the pressure of decreasing budget, is something that we need to manage together. Because we are driven basically by two different directions. One of them is patients' needs. So because patients in the end, they need help and cure. But on the other hand, we have business requirements which urge us to make more profit. And the point here is to leverage these two triggers and escape also the hidden risks of the IT and digital development process. Because when we think and we consider all of the points, that it is the concept creation, the development, the collaboration of designers, copywriters, and also some internal approval procedures. If you do not estimate it and do not consider that, you should, and then on the top, the CLM integrations, some localizations from global to local affiliates, then as we face it, and we have over 5 years of working with pharmaceutical companies, the budgets and the timelines can increase rapidly, and we can observe the doubling of time and also of the budget. And the case that I'm thinking about is recently we got the approach from one of the leaders according to global sales from pharmaceutical companies, that they wanted to change their CLM provider and switch from one to another, but still they had such tons and tons of content that without the rework and without the redevelopment, they would get lots of additional cost. And so that's also this hidden risk. Because the point that we try to bring to a light is that there should be some definite development standard that would be unified and that would enable the company in the pharma really to manage the content and to own the content themselves. So because that's not that the agency should be like the master of content and the master of all the e-detailing. It should be the pharmaceutical industry. And so due to the content, we can really consolidate all the agencies, all the creative work, all the talents, copywriters, and all the, so to say, the key players in the process of creating digital content in the one collaborative space, which would bring the benefits both for the agencies and for the pharmaceutical industry. Because having a standard actually is more of the benefit not for the agency, because they like the way they develop, they don't want to change, and education, although how hard it could be, is really the key to success in uniting these two, this probably different approaches and different players in this process. And having a basic technology standard, which would be the same as in global office and in the local office, and which will enable to share something that was developed globally on the local level, and vice versa too. Because the local affiliates, like we saw yesterday from Bayer, they come up with really creative ideas, but in order to reuse them effectively on the, in the other affiliate, we really strive to minimize those risks and minimize the additional budgets that should be, that are actually the part of this process. But we really, due to the technology, we minimize them. And also relying on that, we suggest a totally new process of creating e-detailing content. And one of them is with the agency, which is unique content, but the investment of time and the budget can be really big, like from about 4 months, depending on the complexity, it can be even more. But there is other solution that can enable the pharma brand managers or the marketing managers create this proper stuff, but internally, keeping all the talents, all the standards, and all the information within the pharmaceutical company, and then really decrease this process and minimize it, because using the special platform, it can last up to 6 hours to create really a engaging presentation with all the monitoring in place, with all the tracking functions, with the possibility to set up things dynamically, because not everything that is fitting global offices will be like matching the local environment. And so that's the point where the pharmaceutical company really takes in charge every process and every procedure that is inside, and is able to do it in a very agile way. So we spoke about that yesterday, so that the agility is now a notion and also a buzzword for pharma. And we're bringing like the solutions that really enable it. And so now I will play a short video about how the process can be done. So it's a kind of solution that can be a part of the CRM system or a standalone solution which is not relying on any CLM or CRM system, and which enables connecting global and local offices, because from now on they can adopt everything that was created in other affiliates without any additional investment and without relying on the digital or production agency. Because the ownership of the electronic or digital content is now within the hands of the pharma. They can do all the possible changes in the content, like changing structure or changing the content of each slide, changing the key message. And when adopting global content, we speak about not just localization in terms of the language, because it's obviously not enough. We should also adapt it to the needs of the local market, change imaging, change key message, probably change the monitoring rules so that it will be suitable and matching the needs of that specific location. So this video was shot like in real time, showing the functionality. Now we come to localization, which is which formerly could take weeks or months, and now it is done by the pharmaceutical company itself. And in terms of creating content, not just we allow to be flexible in terms of the budgets for promotion, because one, brands definitely have more budgets for promotion and they can afford really developing really sophisticated presentations with unique design and functionality. But other brands, they have less budgets, but still they have the possibility to create some engaging content and get the feedback from the market and really understand, due to this feedback, what is the value behind the messages that we deliver, how they are perceived, and then be able to improve in a very agile way. And the same goes with monitoring. So this kind of flexibility, we really, a part of our business is development of the interactive content. But with time, we understood that this is the activity that should be in the hands of our customers. Because in the way that the technology is changing so rapidly, we need to give the companies the freedom to use the content and also choose the channels in which they want to use it. It should not be just face-to-face. It can be a remote detailing visit. But the content which is used, you just create it once, and the budget is only one, and then you choose in what channel you are able to use it. If your rep, being the like the front man and like the one of the still the biggest channels of communication, says that his doctors would like to get the email and then view the content the time they want to, probably during the holiday or after office hours, he can send the email and then deliver this interactive content via email as a website, or reaching the HCP or even the patient with a mobile app which can be uploaded to the Apple Store or Play Market for the download to reach the patients. And no matter what channel you choose, the feedback is still valuable, because on the face-to-face interactions, when you use the CLM platform to capture feedback, you capture all the time in per slide, all this quantitative data, but also you capture the insights and you turn data into insight. On the remote visits, it's all the same too, because you can track everything the same way. You capture all the specific choices that the doctor is making. You track how much time he spends per this or per that topic, no matter if he is guided by the rep or even if he is doing that alone without the e-rep doing the remote detailing. And so in this way, we enable enormous cost reductions, more flexibility, better connection of global and local markets, and also keeping the expertise within the internal team. But all the content, no matter how nice it is, should be integrated in the, for example, in the application for field force. Because if you just use it standalone, You can't really track the attitude and the feedback from the specific doctor. And to make it really integrated, we go through a long process of technology creation, then adopting the content, managing the content, and then using it in a CLM or a CRM system. And if the rep is really comfortable with working with this tool, he works really effectively, delivering the message that he is aimed to, and choosing also other channels of communication which are preferred by the HCPs. And no matter what type of the rep that would be, and according to our experience, we divide them figuratively into several parts, which is like a Stone Age reps that never like the iPad, that prefer to put it aside and never use it. Transcending into like the most of those who, if the manager says, they just obey, which are very good boys. And then we evolve into these digital terminators who accept all the digital technologies very quickly and enable them to mix the channels in a very effective way. And it's the best solution. And that's with the very comfortable app. The MedRep becomes like the orchestrator of all channels, making them function together like a well-tuned orchestra playing some kind of a symphony. And in order to adopt this process, we should start with the basics, with the technology which is behind. Then we go on to moving and managing the content, and after that, effective field force for face-to-face or eRep for remote detailing. But the point is that keeping all the data from the field or from remote interactions into one system. And with us as a provider, you get it all from one hand as a package. And I think that was it. Thank you for the attention. I guess that was too quick.
No, it's fine, don't worry. Thank you,
Oh,
well done. We've got questions for you.
Nice.
I'm sure. So are there any questions? Because Michelle.
How long, with the eDetailing, how long has it been active in your countries or Europe with your kind of the services provider?
We started, actually our first customer for eDetailing came 5 years ago from Russia. And now we continued and we moved on from just standalone eDetailing, as we called it that time. It was just like a presentation, like with fireworks, because it's Russia, they love everything bright and colorful. And we moved from the standalone eDetailing to eDetailing integrated into CLM, really then to track the relationship with the rep and the doctor. And now we are taking this above and moving to remote detailing. And so that's the process that we've gone through with within 5 years with one of our customers. But other customers, they adopt it much quicker. Because, like, for example, last year we started a project with very basic templates presentations which were created by the pharmaceutical brand managers themselves. And remote detailing is already a part of it. So they start engaging or using all the channels at one time.
And behavioral kind of acceptance of the customer, because there would be a change management that you would need to manage with the customers going from the old kind of detailer that was previously provided to the eDetailing. How long did it take to get the majority of them for the acceptance?
I would say that it was hard 5 years ago. It required lots of training. It required even the process that we went together for face-to-face visits with the reps of our customers. That was, of course, a very hard case because you come to the doctor, then there is the rep, there is some device, and there is a strange person like our manager. And but still, we needed to ensure that the reps really do it right, because that time the just training or education was not enough. But now we do it usually, even if there are like Stone Age reps, usually one day training and they adopt it and they start using it. And we track it too, because when they use our app, there is the possibility to close the call just from the app. And then we compare plan to actual, and we see that there will just very small part, like up to 5%, that was not completed with eDetailing and with the CLM application.
And one last question, sorry. In the countries that you dealt with, because I assume from your brochure you're across Europe, CIS, which was the country that you've experienced the slowest adaptation or progress?
The slowest is probably Ukraine and Russia. They are the slowest. And China and other emerging markets, they are fastest. And they are so willing to do everything themselves and keep everything to themselves, like closed in China, that we're really surprised. And also Poland is a great digital leader, so to say, dictating some new trends to other markets. So that's what our experience is.
Thank you.
Anyone else got those sort of experiences? Because I sort of have a similar sort of experience to that Poland's a really good digital leader, that the emerging markets actually will pick up some of the digital stuff much quicker than, say, the likes of a more senior field force that you might get in Germany or the UK, because they've been there for a longer time because of the employment rules. Those people are employed for, they're good, and so they stay. And then they're resistant to change. So I love your slide on the different rep types. We picked up on that at the same time.